Father's Day, a day of celebration. But what happens when the chair where he should sit is empty? This day, meant for joy, can feel like a punch to the gut. The loss is raw. You are not alone. This Father's Day, let's navigate the complex emotions of grief together. This day isn't about forgetting, it's about remembering. It's about honoring the man who shaped your life, even if he's no longer physically here. Maybe you remember his infectious laugh, or the way his eyes crinkled when he smiled. Maybe it's the life lessons he imparted, the values he instilled, or the unwavering love he showered upon you. These memories, these fragments of his essence, are yours to cherish. They are a part of him that death cannot touch. Father's Day doesn't have to be a painful reminder of absence. It can be a day to share stories, to laugh at inside jokes, and to keep his memory alive in the hearts of those who loved him. Let's explore together how to navigate this Father's Day, honoring the memory of the fathers we've lost, and finding solace in the love they left behind. Grief is a complex emotion, as individual as the person experiencing it. It's a language we never wanted to learn, yet one we are forced to speak when someone we love dies. It's a language of silence and sobs, of anger and acceptance, of yearning and letting go. There's no right or wrong way to grieve. There's no timeline, no set of rules. Some days the pain will be a dull ache, a weight on your chest making it hard to breathe. Other days it will be a tidal wave, crashing down unexpectedly and threatening to pull you under. Understanding the stages of grief can be helpful. It can be reassuring to recognize your own experience reflected in these stages, to know that what you're feeling is normal. However, it's important to remember that these stages are not linear. Remember, healing takes time. Denial is often the first stage of grief, a buffer against the shock of loss. It's a way for our minds to gradually process the unthinkable, to protect ourselves from the full weight of reality. You might find yourself thinking, "This can't be happening," or "He'll walk through that door any minute now." This is a normal part of the grieving process. Allow yourself to move at your own pace, to process the loss in your own way. As the initial shock of loss begins to fade, anger often emerges. This anger can feel raw, powerful, and even frightening. You might find yourself angry at the world, at fate, at your father for leaving you, or even at yourself. It's important to allow yourself to feel this anger, to acknowledge its presence without letting it consume you. Find healthy ways to express it. Bargaining is a way of trying to regain control in the face of overwhelming loss. It's a way of trying to make a deal with a higher power, with fate, or even with ourselves, in an attempt to reverse what has happened. You might find yourself thinking, "If only I had called him more often," or "If only we had gone on that trip he always wanted to take." Bargaining is a normal part of the grieving process. It's important to be kind to yourself during this stage, to release yourself from the burden of what ifs and if onlys. The first Father's Day after my own father passed away was the hardest. The world went on celebrating, oblivious to the gaping hole in my life. I remember walking through the grocery store, seeing cards emblazoned with "To the best dad ever," and feeling a wave of grief wash over me. That day, I couldn't bring myself to participate in any of the usual festivities. Instead, I retreated to the quiet solace of my backyard, a place where my father and I had spent countless hours together, sharing stories and laughter. I remembered his booming laugh, his love for bad jokes, and the way his eyes twinkled with pride whenever he looked at me. My father wasn't a man of grand gestures. He expressed his love through simple acts of kindness, through silly jokes whispered during tense moments, and through a steadfast presence in my life. One story that always comes to mind is from my childhood. We were on a family vacation, driving along a winding mountain road when our car suddenly broke down. I was terrified, but my father, ever the optimist, simply smiled and said, "Well, at least we have a front row seat to the lightning show. This Father's Day, I'll be celebrating his legacy of laughter." In the years since my father's passing, I've found solace in connecting with others who have experienced similar losses. Sharing stories about our fathers, both the heartwarming and the humorous, has been a source of comfort and healing. I remember attending a grief support group shortly after my father died. I was hesitant at first, unsure if I was ready to share my story with strangers. But as I listened to others speak about their fathers, their voices thick with emotion, I felt a sense of kinship, a shared understanding that transcended words. These stories, these fragments of memory, became a way of honoring our fathers, of keeping their spirits alive in our hearts. Father's Day. It's a day flooded with images of happy families, barbecues, and gifts. But when you're grieving, these images can feel jarring, a painful reminder of what you've lost. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to navigate this day. The most important thing is to honor your father's memory in a way that feels authentic and comforting to you. This is your grief, your journey, and you're allowed to navigate it in whatever way feels right for you. One way to find meaning on Father's Day is to honor your father's memory through acts of kindness and service. Think about his passions, his values, the causes he cared about. Could you volunteer at a local charity he supported? Could you donate to a cause close to his heart? Giving back is a powerful way to transform grief into something positive and meaningful. It's a way to honor your father's legacy by making a difference in the world, just as he made a difference in yours. Creating new rituals can be a comforting way to honor your father's memory on Father's Day and beyond. These rituals can be as simple or elaborate as you like, as they hold personal meaning for you. Maybe you and your father shared a love or family. Consider planning an annual fishing family, casting a line in his honor, and sharing stories about him around a campfire. Rituals provide a sense of structure and continuity during a time of loss. The decision of whether or not to celebrate Father's Day is deeply personal. There's no right or wrong answer, and what feels right for you one year might feel different the next. If the thought of traditional celebrations feels overwhelming, give yourself permission to opt out. Let your loved ones know that you need some space and that you'll be honoring your father in your own way. Remember, self-care is crucial during times of grief, and honoring your emotional needs is not selfish. Father's Day is about honoring the love and legacy of your father, and that can be done in countless ways, both big and small. Creating new traditions can be a beautiful way to honor your father's memory on Father's Day and beyond. These traditions can be a source of comfort and connection, a tangible way to keep his spirit alive in your heart. Think about your father's passions, his quirks, the little things that made him unique. Was he an early riser who loved greeting the dawn? Consider starting each Father's Day with a quiet moment of reflection as the sun rises, sipping his favorite coffee and remembering the lessons he taught you. Spend the day volunteering at a local charity, or lending a helping hand to a neighbor in need, embodying his spirit of generosity and compassion. My father had an adventurous spirit and an unyielding love for the great outdoors. He instilled in me a deep appreciation for nature's beauty and the importance of exploring new horizons. One of my fondest memories is of our annual hiking trips, where we'd lace up our boots, pack a picnic lunch, and set off into the wilderness, eager to discover hidden waterfalls and breathtaking vistas. This year, in honor of his memory, I'm starting a new tradition, the Father's Day hike. I'll be inviting family and friends to join me on a scenic trail, a place where we can reconnect with nature, share stories about my dad, and celebrate his adventurous spirit. We'll pack his favorite snacks, reminisce about our past adventures, and maybe even share a toast to him at the summit, overlooking the majestic landscape he loved so much. It'll be a day filled with laughter, love, and a shared appreciation for the man who brought us together. Traditions don't have to be limited to grand gestures or elaborate outings. Sometimes the simplest acts can be the most profound. One tradition that has brought me comfort is the Father's Day toast. Every year, on the evening of Father's Day, I gather my loved ones together for a simple meal. As the sun begins to set, casting a warm glow over the room, we raise our glasses in a toast to my father. We each share a favorite memory, a funny anecdote, or a lesson he taught us. It's a time for laughter, for tears, for remembering the man who shaped our lives in countless ways. Some years the stories are lighthearted, filled with laughter and inside jokes. Other years the stories are more poignant, tinged with sadness and a longing for his presence. But through it all, there's a shared sense of love, gratitude, and a deep connection to the man we all miss so much. The Father's Day toast is a reminder that his spirit lives on in each of us, in the stories we tell, the lessons we carry, and the love we share. Grief can feel incredibly isolating, especially after a significant loss. It's easy to withdraw, believing no one understands our pain. But you are not alone in this journey. Millions have experienced similar losses and navigate grief daily. Reaching out for support is a sign of strength. Sometimes the most comforting words come from those who have walked a similar path. Connecting with others who have experienced the loss of a father can provide a sense of validation, understanding, and hope that you might not find elsewhere. Grief support groups, both online and in person, offer a safe and supportive space to share your story, to listen to the experiences of others, and to learn coping strategies from those who understand what you're going through. In these groups, you're free to express your grief without judgment, to ask questions, and to simply be present with others who get it. Online forums and social media groups can also provide a sense of community and connection, especially if you're not comfortable attending in-person meetings. These platforms offer a way to connect with people from all over the world who share similar experiences, to exchange messages of support, and to find solace in knowing that you're not alone. If you're finding it difficult to cope with your grief on your own, or if you're concerned about your emotional well-being, don't hesitate to seek professional help. Therapists and counselors trained in grief and loss can provide you with the tools and support you need to navigate this challenging time. Therapy can provide a safe and confidential space to explore your feelings, to identify unhealthy coping mechanisms, and to develop healthy strategies for managing your grief. A skilled therapist can help you process your emotions, understand your grief reactions, and develop coping skills that work for you. Remember, there's no shame in seeking professional help. It's a sign of self-awareness and a commitment to your own well-being. Grief is a journey, not a destination, and sometimes we need a little extra support along the way. Grief is not a straight line, a path with a clearly defined beginning, middle, and end. It's a labyrinth, full of unexpected twists and turns, moments of clarity interspersed with waves of overwhelming sadness. Some days, you'll feel strong, capable of navigating the world with your head held high. Other days, the weight of your loss will feel unbearable. Allow yourself to cry when you need to laugh when you can, to be gentle with yourself. Your journey is uniquely your own, shaped by the depth of your love and memories. Though your father may no longer be physically present, his love remains a constant in your life. It's woven into the fabric of your being, shaping your values, your dreams, the very essence of who you are. You carry his legacy within you, in the lessons he taught you, the stories he shared, the love that transcended the boundaries of life and death. On this Father's Day and every day that follows, remember that you are not alone in carrying his memory. Reach out to your loved ones, share stories, laugh together, cry together. Let his memory be a source of comfort and inspiration, a reminder of the unbreakable bond you shared. Remember the sound of his laughter, the warmth of his embrace, the way his eyes lit up when he looked at you. These precious memories are yours to cherish, a testament to the enduring power of love. Father's Day can be a difficult day for those who have lost their fathers, but it can also be a day of healing, remembrance, and a celebration of a life well lived. It's a day to honor his memory in a way that feels authentic and meaningful to you, whether it's through quiet reflection, acts of service, or the creation of new traditions. Remember that you are surrounded by a community of support, people who understand the language of your grief and are ready to offer a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, or simply a comforting presence. Don't be afraid to reach out, to share your story, to allow others to walk alongside you on this journey. As you navigate this Father's Day, may you find solace in the memories you shared, strength in the love that binds you, and peace in the knowledge that your Father's Spirit lives on, not just in your heart, but in the hearts of all who loved him.